and even the day that Bo Davis showed up to LSU. I mean, that is a enormous story of LSU staying in the fight with Bo Davis and being able to close that deal a week after the reports of, look, it just didn't work out. And we came here on Monday morning and talked and said that we had heard over the weekend that Bo Davis's name was still in the mix, or it had gotten kicked back up into the mix. And, that the deal wasn't necessarily dead as it would and had been reported over the weekend. And I had heard the same thing, that, Davis and LSU kind of stalled out. It just didn't work. The money, Austin, the tax-free stuff, the no state tax, the comparison in, Austin to Baton Rouge, just the status of the programs right now. I mean, when you're looking at the defensive line room, I mean, it's a total rebuild at LSU. At Texas, they've got they're 3 deep over there with what he's got coming in and what he's built already. So, I mean, it just seemed like it was a nice try, but it just didn't work. And then, for it to stay alive or get, kind of revved back up over the weekend and then closed nearly 4 days later is an enormous win, an enormous get for Brian Kelly. And Kelly deserves a lot of credit here in the way that he has handled this offseason and in just the short time, right? And we've talked about it. Kelly works at his own pace. He works on his own timeline, on his own schedule. And look, there's no right, wrong, or he has to apologize for that. I mean, that's his deal. He gets his job done. And if you can close on guys like Bo Davis, you can take as much time as you need, right? Because that's a big fish to reel in here going into the late signing period, a transfer portal opening in April, and Alabama's roster open season for the next 30 days. And to bring Bo Davis in the way that Brian Kelly did after landing Blake Baker earlier this week for his defensive coordinator, I don't know how much better the offseason could go for LSU in just the short time that they've been in it. Right? I mean, now you look at the defensive backs, and we've heard and said and talked about Corey Raymond a lot. And, the familiarity of Corey Raymond and Blake Baker we thought was a real plus, a real advantage to have going in that direction. Now you bring Bo Davis aboard. That's just more sense of familiarity. I mean, that's more people who recognize one another, have worked together, are familiar with one another. I mean, Davis and Raymond played together at LSU. They've got a relationship in the coaching circles. They've coached on staffs together. You talk about a brotherhood. I mean, forget having some familiarity of working alongside one another. Those guys go way back and, shared locker rooms and been a part of teams. And, look, that looks as if the next news that we hear could be Corey Raymond. And if that's the case, and the defensive staff is overhauled with Baker, Davis, and Raymond, I mean, now we're talking. We talk about the offensive staff so much and how elite they are and the experience and the recruiting and all that they've been able to do. I mean, you roll that defensive staff into any living room and you got a chance to win, and then you put them on the field and they can develop. That's how you win. That's how you win at a very high level. That's how you win consistently. I think Brian Kelly deserves a ton of credit for being able to pull that hire off and take Bo Davis off of a Texas staff that's very talented, and Davis has been a thorn in LSU's side for a while, and now to have him on the good side was that's a great job by everybody involved there. Kelly, Scott Woodward, Verge Alsbury, everybody kind of behind the scenes that was working to get this deal done. That's a big coup. That's a big win, right? I mean,
yeah, well, and if you're LSU or if you're an LSU fan and you were the rumors of LSU not being able to break the bank open or that they're quote unquote cheap, I think all that has changed under the Scott Woodward assignment as athletic director. You have Blake Baker, who becomes the highest paid highest paid coordinator in the country, and now Bo Davis signed a 3-year deal as a defensive line coach worth $405 million. Annual compensation starts at $1.25 million. Salary escalates by $100,000. LSU topped the offer that Davis was made at Texas, where he got $1 million a year, which was the highest number for an assistant who isn't a coordinator. So he gets another pay bump and remains the highest paid assistant that is now no longer a coordinator. Now LSU has the highest paid assistant that isn't a coordinator and the highest paid coordinator both on staff at LSU. And while Kelly still has, 5 job openings to fill, mostly on the defensive side, it feels like that you put these people in place with a Bo Davis, a Blake Baker. If you're going to roll Corey Raymond out there, I don't think many people would bat an eye that it's a bad thing. There's some people that remain in that camp and will probably be too staunch to leave. But the door cannot be more wide open for LSU to make a massive run in the SEC with, regardless of the landscape changing between no more East and West. It feels like the main benefactor from this is LSU, and they're making moves as if the pendulum has swung.
Yeah, well, and LSU, I agree. They have an opening.
And they attacked. They saw a crack and kicked the door down.
Not only that, it keeps opening wider. You've got a chance here to make a run with Saban stepping down, obviously the addition of a couple of more teams here, and the SEC shifting its balance and its power. It's a wide open opportunity for LSU to really jolt themselves to the top and stay there. What, man? LSU, we cannot overestimate how much they have improved their recruiting over the last 4 days, over the last 5 days, with the addition of Blake Baker and the addition of Bo Davis. What they have done defensively, obviously on the field, speaks for itself. You can look up at what Baker's defense has done the past couple of years and what Bo Davis's defensive line, how they've performed at Texas. But when you talk about the recruiting aspect of what you get with both of these guys,
it couldn't have worked out any better.
It really couldn't.
I mean, obviously you want to see, I think we're firmly entrenched in the Corey Raymond camp. It feels like it just makes too much sense. And if you bring the 3-headed, 4-headed, 5-headed monster in recruiting of Corey Raymond, Bo Davis, Brad Davis, Joe Sloan, oh my, you can't, Frank Wilson, excuse me.
Tiger droppings last night. Is LSU going to hire Nick Saban as the new DB coach?
Would
be a great hire.
Would you fire Brian Kelly right now and hire Nick Saban?
Oof.
Learn from your mistakes.
We're on in the coach's office right now.
He's not there.
Wow.
That would be. I mean, what do you think LSU fans would do?
He's definitely got gas in the tank.
Oh yeah.
Sure. It's not about the gas in the tank right now for Saban. I think it's more of.
And look at the staff. Look at the staff he would inherit.
I think it's about control.
Right. I think it's everything else going on
I
around
think it's just
college
about
football.
Controlling the game.
Come control a
lot of the stuff he was doing under the table for so many years is now just, it's above board. It's just it's
hire Bill Belichick, Saban defensive coordinator, Blake Baker linebackers coach, Corey Raymond DB coach, offensive line, defensive line are set. Bring him back.
We'll see if Dan
was it the Browns?
The Browns
where they worked together.
Yeah, he was the DC.
Mm-hmm.
He's the DC at the
miserable.
Miserable.
He looks so miserable.
Both of them.
We're trying to win
in the cold,
and we're doing a good job.
Both of them had that
the beanie with the Russell starter all the way up to the top.
Headsets, the double-eared headsets.
They cross both this face.
Kendrick Law.
In the portal?
Come home.
Ooh.
I'm just saying. I'm just
all of them.
I'm looking at the Bama.
I mean, it's open season.
I'd call Kendrick Law.
Give me read the defensive line room.
Yesterday I was saying I'd call Danny Lewis and tell him, you want to play D-line? I mean, you can't play tight end at LSU. He played D-line in high school.
I don't know if Gronk could play tight end at LSU right now.
Exactly.
And then you can move Deshaun Womack to tight end.
He'd be a great tight end.
Unreal. Wait. You have Bama's defensive line?
Oh yeah.
Room?
down to the 90s.
I mean, and just for good measure, I want Desmond Ricks too.
oh, for sure.
Like,
He's the one that's been the most vocal. With
No
just the-
doubt.
Man, I already
Des,
said.
we get it, buddy. I mean, I know that a couple of years ago that there was an offer that you just couldn't say no to, and I mean, nobody's blaming you.
We respect
but
it.
come on home.
Yeah.
I mean,
You already said you were a Tiger.
right? We know where you really wanted to be.
You already committed, actually.
I mean, I would imagine Blake Baker was huge on that
For
recruitment.
sure. Jordan Renaud, he's a freshman. 6'4", 261.
Take him.
We don't, he's too
Sight
small.
unseen.
Hunter Osborne.
Jaheim Otis. That's
Yes,
what I
that's the
want.
one. I mean, he was giving LSU fits.
6'5",
this year.
320.
How many years left?
He's a sophomore.
We'll take him.
Damon Payne Jr.
Bo Davis, go get him.
from Belleville, Michigan.
Edric Hill,
From
freshman.
Bellevue, Michigan? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's Underwood School.
Getting a call from a 318 number.
318.
Yeah, 318.
Man.
Same thing. I don't know who that is. I'll call him back.
Yeah, you would hope you can get this because if you're LSU, where you are thin at defensive line, like this is a godsend to get Bo Davis and then have the portal open up 30 days for Alabama, and I mean if you get one or two, doesn't matter who they are. Like you said, sight unseen.
Yeah, take 'em all.
If you have the
Take 'em all.
If you have the Tide in your bio, just come on over.
I mean, like, I'm not even, I don't even want to get greedy. Like, I'm not even talking about Caleb Downs. Like, I want all of your defensive linemen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I want anybody who's uninterested in being here. And raise your hand if you came to play for Nick Saban.
This-
all of you?
Yeah.
Come on.
Step on in. This kid chose Alabama over Arkansas, Iowa, LSU, Oklahoma, and USC.
Where's Texas?
Edric Hill.
I want to see if anybody chose him over Texas because that's Bo Davis.
And you could go Pilfer, Texas.
I mean, I think Jaheim Oates was